Brian, and today we're going to talk about managing cash flow and improving profitability using Sage Peachtree Quantum for construction-type businesses. A lot of people ask me, why Peachtree for construction? And these are some of the reasons that I've come up with to help businesses get better processes and information. With up-to-date information, businesses can manage their cash flow better, and they can make informed decisions. The job costing features that are found in Peachtree allow businesses to apply basic job cost budgeting and expense tracking techniques to help benchmark, monitor, and improve their overall job profitability. And there's a new feature found in Peachtree, and it's called Workflow. Workflow helps to enhance intercompany communications and keep everybody in the company with up-to-date information. What does cash flow mean? Cash flow forecasts are a straightforward way of managing your money. They help businesses know of a cash shortage in advance before it becomes a major problem. What information do we need to manage cash flow? Well, we need current cash balances, outstanding receivables from our customers, payables from our vendors, and we might even need what-if scenarios. This allows us to have accurate cash flow forecasts. In Peachtree, selecting the cash flow time frame is very easy. You can choose from a drop-down list of available time frames by account number or specific bank account number. Peachtree also helps you confirm your starting cash balances found on your financial statement. We have the capability of selecting or choosing which expected incoming cash transactions we really think that we're going to get, and we can also exclude cash transactions on the accounts receivable statement from being included in our cash flow if we know that they're going to be delayed. We can include expected outgoing cash, and again, optionally, we can choose not to include some payments to vendors that we might be holding or that might be delayed. If we know in advance of a cash flow situation, whether it's money coming in or money going out, that might impact our cash flow position, we can put in what-if scenarios. We can define when we think we're going to receive the cash or when we think we're going to pay it out, and how much that expected cash incoming or outgoing dollar amount might be. We can optionally change all of our cash flow settings to customize this so that we get a cash flow statement that's pertinent to our business cash flow internal processing requirements. The results are we get a cash flow statement that tells us, based on all of our choices and the timeline we've chosen, what our cash position might be 7 days out, 14 days out, 30 days out, so that we can make business decisions about upcoming expenditures that we might want to make. These results can also be taken out to Excel, and we can customize the look and feel of these cash flow statements out in Excel and make the presentation in a manner that is more acceptable to our business. What kind of businesses benefit from using Peachtree job costing? Well, general construction, remodeling, electrical contractors, mechanical HVAC, plumbing contractors, and other type of contracting businesses. What kind of information is needed to manage your job profitability? We have expenses, people, labor burden, materials, subcontractors, and maybe equipment. You have change orders that might impact the amount of expenses on a job or the amount of revenue on a job that gets recognized, and then you have the revenue from the original job. Using Peachtree, you can easily compare actual to your budgeted expenses. As job expenses and revenue are realized, we can measure the actual expenses to what we've budgeted for our expenses. We can measure and track the actual percentage of completion on the job. We can measure our progress for profitability by job, by phase code, by cost code, or by change orders. During the job, we can use Peachtree to determine if a job is staying within budget. A simple formula is your planned spending minus what we've actually spent, and that comes to, and tells us whether or not we are over or under our budgeted amount. Using Peachtree after the job is completed, we can assess our profitability. Did the job estimates or budgets include all costs? Were there any unexpected job expenses? Was the job profitable enough to cover our overhead costs? We can benchmark our jobs. We can then easily use historical job data to benchmark budgets and actual expenses for materials, subcontractors, equipment, and labor for new jobs. We can easily copy our job information, phase, and cost code structure into a new job. We can easily copy job billing setup information into a job. It streamlines the entire process of setting up our jobs, saves a lot of time. When we set up phases and cost codes in Peachtree, what does that mean? Well, we have jobs. That's the highest level of detail. And we can define phase codes. Phase codes can be steps or categories within a job. Cost codes. Cost codes can be steps or categories within phase codes. So Peachtree has 3 levels of details in our job that we can track revenue and expenses against. This is an example of a phase code. We can set up phase code. The phase IDs and descriptions are customizable and can be set up to conform with your current job cost tracking requirements. The same goes for cost codes. Our cost code can be alphabetical or numerical with a description that's pertinent to your internal business information. When we add a new job, we'll add a job, we'll set up general information, we can define budgets and estimated expenses, and there's even a place to record notes for our jobs. When we're setting up our jobs, some of the decisions we have to make is which customer the job's for, where the location of the job is, whether or not I need to track customized fields or information that's pertinent to this specific job. We can define types or categories to our jobs. We can assign it a purchase order number and specify the billing method to be used for this job. We can also define whether or not the job is going to have labor burden and what the percentage is, and whether or not we need to track retainage to a job. On the Estimated Expense and Revenues File tab, we can define the phase codes and cost codes to a job. We can define the number of units or hours and the expense dollars and the revenue dollars associated with each step within a job. When we're done, it's going to give us a total of what our estimated expenses and revenues for each job are projected to be. Notes on our job is a place for us to record internal information about a job that we need to track during the life of the job. Tracking retainage in Peachtree is easy. Once we define the retainage percentage, typically that's about 10%, we can track retainage to a sales invoice to a customer, withhold the retainage to a payable vendor invoice, and pay the retainages once our vendors have completed their projects and the completion has been approved by a supervisor. Likewise, when we invoice our customers, we can have Peachtree automatically calculate the retainage that the customers should withhold. Once the job has been completed and the customer has agreed that the job has been completed, the retainage can be released and invoiced to the job, and the cash can be collected for the retainage amount. Change orders. This is a new feature found in Peachtree. Change orders can be used to modify the scope of work from the original contract. When we go to key in a change order transaction, we can define the difference in revenue that will be affected by this change order, as well as the difference in cost for a particular change order. Change orders are numerically assigned by number. You have the ability to provide a change order date. You can estimate the new projected end date and associate a change order to a specific phase code. Once you've decided all the information that will be applied to this change order, you would update your job estimates. That update process then takes the original contract revenue and expenses, applies the associated dollars to the change order, and now gives you a new revenue and expense total for the project. Let's talk about labor expenses. Labor expenses come from payroll. It's one place. They also come from vendors if you subcontract out some of your work. And in Peachtree, you can do your payroll in-house and assign those payroll dollars to a job. And also, remember, we talked about applying labor burden at the point where we're putting in payroll expenses. If your payroll is outsourced, that can be entered in via a journal entry. Journal entry expenses can also be associated to a job. Time tickets. If you choose, you can key time tickets into Peachtree, and you can have the time tickets associated to a job. And then when it comes time for payroll, you can actually select all of the time tickets by person, and it will calculate how many hours you need to pay each person for, and then associate the cost of that payroll plus your labor burden as a cost for the job. When you're performing Peachtree payroll, there is an icon in the payroll entry window that will allow you to specify a job, the number of hours, whether the hours are regular or overtime, and again, your labor burden percentage. During payroll data entry, if you choose to modify your labor burden percent that is defaulted into your job, you can simply override the existing labor burden percent and assign a new labor burden percent to the job that you're processing the payroll hours against. What is labor burden? Labor burden is the cost to a company to carry their labor force outside the salary actually paid to them. Burdens the benefit and taxes that a company must or chooses to pay on their payroll. These can include but are not limited to payroll taxes, retirement, pension, health care, life, workers' compensation, and disability types of insurances. Applying labor burden. Again, during payroll entry, we define which job, the burden rate, and whether or not they're at their regular or overtime hours. It could even be holiday and vacation hours that are applied against the labor, applied against the job cost. If you outsource your payroll, you can actually associate labor costs at the point you're keying in a journal entry for your payroll pay period wage expense. There's a field in your general journal entry screen for the job number, and you can associate or break down to as many different jobs the number of hours that you're paying on your payroll. What are material expenses? Well, they could be stock or non-stock items. They could be subcontractors. You could have purchase orders or purchases, and other types of vendor bills or equipment. If you want to use stocked items in Peachtree, you must issue them to a job to have the cost of those stocked items associated to the job. For non-stocked items, at the point you're either keying in a purchase order or an accounts payable invoice transaction, you can associate each individual line item to one job, or you could associate every line item on your accounts payable invoice or your purchase order to a different job. You simply go to the job field and select from a drop-down list your job, phase code, and or cost code you wish to apply the expenses against. The same is true for your subcontractor expenses. If you have vendors that you pay for either services or goods, when you're recording the vendor invoice or, again, the purchase order, you can associate those expenses from a drop-down list to a job, to a phase code, or to a cost code, or any combination of the three. The invoicing choices that you have in Peachtree are percentage of completion, percentage of contract, percentage of proposal. You can also invoice in Peachtree for time and billing. You can invoice in Peachtree for change orders. And lastly, you can invoice in Peachtree for retainage amounts that have been withheld from your customer invoices. Invoicing for time and material is easy. You simply go into the sales invoicing screen, define the customer, define the quantity. You can key in a description and a unit price. And Peachtree will help you calculate the dollar amount we choose to issue to the customer. Again, in the job field, we define the job, phase code, or cost code we want to associate these revenue dollars with. What's progress billing? Progress billing allows you to invoice costs as they are incurred on a scheduled basis. This way your customer finances your project, reducing your need for working capital. In effect, your costs are covered before you deliver anything, even though your customer has a lien against the project. Using this tool, Select for Progress Billing lets us define one customer, all customers. You can specify a single job or a range of jobs. In the lower portion of your screen, we can have Progress Billing pull up our percentage of contract and completion, our percentage of proposal. It can help us release and invoice our retainage. In our Select for Progress Billing Details window, we optionally can choose one job or all jobs under our percentage of contract, completion, percentage of proposal, or release retainage window. The fields displayed on this screen are all editable and changeable with the exception of the customer ID, the job ID, the phase ID, and cost code, those fields that are displayed in gray. We can pick and choose how much or how little of a job we choose to invoice during this process. And we can select them and then go batch, print our invoices, or print them directly from this screen, or email these invoices to our customer if that's how we want to provide our invoice documents to our customers. The job reports option list we have in Peachtree is extensive. We can print out job ledger detail reports, which shows us every transaction that's affected a job's profitability. We can print out estimated job expenses and estimated job revenue, which will give us summary information about our jobs. We can print out a job master file list. We can also print out job profitability reports as the job is progressing to help us monitor and measure that our job is staying on track. These reports are all also customizable. The first report in the list, called the Sage Job Profitability Report, has been customized. I know that because there's a blue wrench in the upper left-hand corner of that report. All these reports can additionally be taken out to PDF or to Excel. Let's review the competitive features found in Peachtree. We have jobs, phases, and job cost codes for maximum detail. We can assign labor burden by job. We can calculate customer retainage and vendor retainage percentage by the job. We can set up and track and bill change orders and get detailed information about those change orders. We can enter job expenses for accounts payable, material issues for stocked inventory item, and payroll labor hours. We can invoice our jobs using percentage of completion, percentage of contract, percentage of proposal, as well as time and material billing. We can have Peachtree help us track and manage our retainage and invoice for the retainage to customers and track our retainage to our vendors. We can automatically and electronically file our tax form and pay our payroll taxes. We can track subcontractor insurance with expiration dates in Peachtree. And we can easily monitor job profitability as the job is in progress. What's workflow? Well, workflow gives us the ability to track statuses of where our jobs are or things we need to take care of for our customers. There's notification rules. We can actually have Peachtree help us notify Peachtree users when there's tasks that need to be scheduled or taken care of. Set up the tracking status. We simply go into Peachtree. We define the process that we want to assign a tracking status to. We give it a name. We give it a description. Using the tracking status during transaction entry, Peachtree comes up and helps provide information that we need to pass along to the next person inside our company to help us with our processes and our steps. It helps gap the communications between the front and back office. It also helps gap the communications between users that might be in and out of the office and not able to speak or meet on a regular basis. User notifications pop up with a list. When the user logs into Peachtree, it tells us that there are things that we need to go and take care of for customers or vendors or jobs. We can set up the rules. What are the rules? What do we want to have happen? Who do we want to notify when certain conditions are met? Again, the user gets a notification that there's a task that needs to be completed or taken care of, and they can go back and look at historical tasks as well. The advantages of Peachtree. With up-to-date information, businesses can better manage cash flow and make informed decisions. Job costing features allow businesses to apply basic job cost budgeting and expense tracking to help benchmark, monitor, and improve job profitability. Workflow processes helps to enhance intercompany communications and keep everyone up to date. Peachtree can help you know the profit targets on every job, know our fixed costs of doing business, know our exact annual overhead costs, know our annual break-even revenue, know our net profit year-to-date, know our annual gross profit goal, know our annual net profit goal, know how much cash we have in the bank, know what our company working capital is, know what our company equity is, know what our current receivables are, know what our total debt is, know what our equipment costs are, know what a good profit margin should be, and know the difference between gross profit and markup. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation, Peachtree Construction, helping you manage cash flow and improving profitability. Thank you.